In this video, I'm going to give you the complete strategy to make $1,000 with liquidity pools if you are brand new. And this is going to be your complete no BS guide, how I would do this if I was starting brand new to get more coins on your assets for this bull run. I think liquidity pools is one of the biggest game changers, to be honest, in cryptocurrency, because you get to sit back, do nothing, as well as you would do with your, kind of hodl strategy. But obviously we create fees, get more coins to then later sell for the bull run. So the truth about making money in crypto in 2025, and this is really what we're kind of aiming for by the end of this bull run, to make a fuck ton of money and not be like me and many of my other friends that lost everything in 2021. So here's the truth, and it's very, very simple. We'll get to DeFi in a second, but to understand DeFi, we obviously need to understand how the cryptocurrency market moves. You have a cryptocurrency market, which is pretty similar. So you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, BNB. You have your millions and millions of assets. Unfortunately, because there's just so many assets right now, but you have your assets, right? And ideally, you have a bull run that happens pretty much every 4 years, 2013, 2017, 2021. And what we're seeing right now, hypothetically, is 2025. That's what we're playing for. You have increased demand, right? More people coming in. You get big talks of whales buying. You get big talks of institutions. You hear it in the news. Your friends start buying. These people probably lose money, because they buy at the peak, but ideally they learn a lot. Maybe that was you in 21. Maybe that was you in 2017. Hopefully not in 2025. And what this does is you get higher prices, right? More demand comes in, if people are buying assets, the price goes up, right? More liquidity, you get the point. Trading volume goes crazy. Media coverage, when Bitcoin hit 100K, a lot of media news was covering it. When Bitcoin hit 122K, Bitcoin all-time highs. When Bitcoin probably hits 150K this bull run, guess what? More media, and this just creates a flywheel. So new investors, we call them Jeffries, we need to sell to these guys to make money, unfortunately, but hopefully they'll learn by the next 2030 bull run. And market volatility, a lot of ups and downs, speculation, further price increases, potential market correction, price stabilization, end of bull market returns back to normal, e.g. you make a fuck ton of money. Okay, if you can understand this before we get into DeFi liquidity pools, we can get you to $1,000 a month, we can get you to $10,000 a month, we can get you beyond that, right? But if you don't understand this, liquidity pools are going to be pretty much worthless. Okay, so again, if you want this diagram, go back to the start of this video before I start to draw on it, keep it, frame it, and it will save you so much money and time like I wish I had in 2021. So firstly, the crypto landscape in 2025 is becoming saturated with misleading opportunities. Okay, so liquidity pools, what they've done is they've created a genuine, in my opinion, opportunity window, but not in a way most gurus present it. Okay, so they typically focus on the wrong models, follow up, end them getting themselves wrecked, e.g. shitcoins they wouldn't normally hold for the bull run. We're going to talk about that going forward. And sketchy platforms, unrealistic APYs with low TVL. You do not want to do this, okay? So here's a reality check. Firstly, over 90% of liquidity pool providers, okay, they end up losing money. And why does that happen? Because they chase the wrong coins with the wrong pools. Okay, it's very simple. If you have a bull run bag, and we're going to give you a strategy as we go through this, but if you have a bull run bag, don't swap your coins for coins that you would never hold and then provide liquidity. Because why would you do that? Just for higher APY? Well, let's just start you off safe first. Get the $1,000, get the $5,000, get the $10,000, and then you can do this for free. Okay? A lot of people do this opposite, and they get wrecked and never get to live the life of their dreams. And these approaches fail for predictable reasons. Number one, coins go down in value, and they can't keep up with the yields. They miss the whole point of the pools to stack coins, e.g. their blue chip assets, to sell for later in 2025 a more dollar value. So you do not want to do this. The good news is I'm going to show you what not to do by then showing you what to do. So see promising pool, paying 1,000% APY. This is typically what happens. We're going to expand on what not to do, because to understand what not to do, we can figure out what to do just by doing the opposite. And somebody sees 1,000% APY on shitcoins, they're like, yes, this is it, boys. We're going all in. This is how we become a millionaire with $1,000. And what they do is they sell their main blue chip coins. Very, very bad. Don't do that. They enter position, and after 2 to 3 days, everything looks great. So again, these can look great for 2 days, 7 days, even 14 days. But typically after 30 days, most people, their main asset goes considerably down in value. E.g. X shitcoin, okay, pays 1,000% APY, but X shitcoin goes down 50, 60, 70, 90%. And what will happen there is you can't get APY on a coin that goes down 90% plus. Even a 1,000,000% APY is not going to keep up with that. So again, what people do is they panic, they jump to another position and create another 50% loss. Same pair of results, they blame themselves or that DeFi doesn't work. And then they go and search for a new money-making method with crypto, maybe trading, right? Now, you can get the 1 to 10%, okay, the early guys, again, that are getting lucky. These guys can have moderate success, but still short-lived. E.g., let's create a way in the next 30 days to get you to $1,000 where we can have 100% success. Okay, that's what my goal here is to do. But again, we have to understand what not to do to figure out what to do. So let's go further. So here's why service blue chip asset pools are the best starting point for beginners. So I've spoken about this many times. I've got a guy called Brett. He's using XRP, Ethereum, two strong, I would believe, blue chip assets that we'd all agree on. Whether you like Ethereum and XRP, they're going to go up in value. They have done every single bull run, and it's pretty obvious. He's made $4,000 a week, $16,000 per month, and you can see here his two pools are kicking. Safe to become the DeFi junkie. And here's why this works. Ethereum is a strong asset that has done well every single bull run. He already had that. He didn't chase this for Xcoin, shitcoin, Pepe 6.0. He put Ethereum to work. He put XRP to work. And as you know, okay, these coins are going to do considerably well in a bull run, e.g. he gets to create more coins to then sell for more dollar value in the bull run. So my biggest lesson to you is, number one, when starting out, beginners typically face a fundamental choice between what platforms to use and what assets to pair. Don't worry, we're going to cover this later on, but this is very, very important because to create a DeFi pool with cryptocurrency, it really just comes down to what assets you're going to pair, what platforms you're going to use, how much you're looking to accumulate, what your TVL is, total value locked in coins, positions, and then just deploy to figure out if you want to compound or figure out if you want to sell that for dollar value for passive income. Very, very simple, but people get this completely wrong. The core advantage of high DVL platforms plus safe blue chips that we all know will do well in this bull run is that these positions become stable to guarantee returns before we opt to scale for other coins plus more yield. Now, you don't have to do that. Brock, for example, in this example here, he's just sticking in this pool and compounding. So at 4K per week, he compounds that and it keeps spinning the flywheel. Until this bull run is over, he'll sell for dollar value. He'll do it all over again in the next one. You don't have to swap and chip if you don't want to. You can. There's no right or wrong answer. But here's the advantages. Well, you get to accumulate coins for free, as you guys know, that we all know will do well. E.g., when the bull run peak of 2025, you get to sell for more dollar value. Pretty effing exciting. You can scale free coins, okay, because you're accumulating for free, to other pools, and they're just compound for more coins, for more dollar value later. Again, let's get more coins to then sell for more dollar value later. Okay, here's your starting point and the skills and time. So again, step number one, pretty effing simple. Choose what coins you want to deploy. Then choose a platform, if that's a VFAT, I'm going to touch on this later, Oracle, Turbo Finance, Uniswap, etc., etc. Look at the APY, how much you're getting paid, okay, if that is weekly, if that is monthly, if that is yearly. Ideally on blue chip assets, we want to aim for 5 to 10% per month, which seems crazy, by the way, but I promise you it's very, very achievable if you know what you're looking for. And then you have to do the maths on the dollar value you want per month. If that's the first month fees, well, maybe that's $5,000 to $10,000 after 1 to 2 months, and you scale beyond that by compounding and using the free coins to scale into other pools. Very effing simple. The wrong way, they would buy coins they would never hold for the bull run, look for 1,000% APYs per year, realize the assets you're choosing are going down week after week, the fees aren't keeping up with the assets, with depreciation, they flip-flop to other coins and other pools that they don't believe in, they lose another 20 to 50%, and then decide they want to be a trader. Get rid of this and play the longer game, and it's not even longer game. If you've got a portfolio of 20, 30, 40, 50K, you can really scale that up to 6 figures. Pretty effing crazy, right? If this goal is $1,000 in this video, I'm going to show you how to do that. It's not rocket science. Everybody tries to create $1 million with $1,000 in 6 months. It's not the plan, man. So here's why liquidity pools combined with the hodl play is the best move you can start in 2025 bull run. Again, Grant, one of my guys, creating £2,500 every single day. Pretty crazy. Obviously me, I talked about this before in another video. We just traveled to Phuket. It was an absolute free trip. And yeah, everything was paid for with liquidity pools. We've got Jack here. He just bought a 3-man sauna. In 5 weeks, he made $6,000. And we've got Jesse that has been a member for a while in our group. 1K a day on Sui. Again, more Sui and more USDC for this bull run. And Oliver that bought himself a Range Rover due to pools. Pretty effing crazy. Now again, why this works is we get to stack more coins for free using assets we already hold for the bull run anyways. If we compare this to real estate, I want to kind of shift turns a little bit or change ships. Real estate's great. Okay, I understand the game of real estate, but can slowly, I'm sure you'll agree with me, it's just becoming harder and harder and harder for the normal person to get in because we can get out in coins and DeFi liquidity pools in a click of a button. Just one click, we buy, one click, we decide, okay, we sell, whatever, right? With the real estate, it can take months, plus stress if you get a bad tenant, plus fees. Very, very bad if you don't know what you're doing. So your goal or your 100K goal could well and truly turn into $200,000 to $300,000 with all the extra coins. So again, if you have, let's just say $20,000 for this bull run, an average of 5x. Yeah, it's a pretty good goal, even at right now. Obviously, we're getting later in the cycle, but 5x across multiple coins, blue chips, lower market cap AIs, whatever. 100K, pretty crazy, right? But if you put these in pools, you could be looking at 200, 300K plus if you know what you're doing. That's the difference, right? And we fully control the game we play here because it's cryptocurrency, it's open 24/7. And again, we build it once, we scale it out, and you can go as far as you want. The sky is the limit if you know what you're doing. So here's why this wins over other real models in business, cryptocurrency, other business models, etc. Well, number one, if you're a trader, it requires constant time at your screen, especially if you're brand new. It might be 5 to 10 hours per day if you're trying to be serious. If you're starting to master that, plus you can lose it all in one bad trade. I knew a guy, his name was Q, he was an XRP trader, I've told this story many times. He was winning some trades, he decided to put a little bit too high leverage, he went to the gym, he went to the pool, he put the trade on, in 30 minutes, he comes back, and there's no XRP left. His whole bull run portfolio gone in one trade. Not ideal. The hodl way is fine, okay, so most people hodl, that's absolutely fine, but if you want to accumulate any more coins, you physically have to, use your savings, maybe cut expenses, etc. to buy more coins when prices are cheap. Well, you don't have to do that with DeFi pools. You can put those to work, get passive income, and you get to get more coins, okay? So with passive income in the hodl way, there's not really a passive income. You buy something, you have to sell it, okay? You don't get the income. With cryptocurrency DeFi pools is you can create income every single day. Very, very good. Now, real estate, again, nothing wrong with the real estate. I just don't think it's the right model for a lot of people now in today's age. In the 90s, the 80s, the 2000s, maybe the 2010, real estate was a lot easier, but now it's just so fucking expensive. Let's be honest. You get roughly 5 to 7% across the board globally, according to Google, in appreciation. Sure, you get rental cash flow, okay, but it's tiny in comparison to pools. Plus, what you actually need to buy a decent house to get good rental income. Again, real estate is fine, but I would rather you guys do this once you have way more money. If you're trying to get in real estate with 50, 100K, 150K, it's probably not going to work out for you. Now, here's how we get in the game. Well, firstly, what I want you to do is I want you to look at your portfolio you already have. If you don't have any coins, well, you need to go a step beyond this, right? So you need to look at what coins you want to buy. Step number one. You could go on DeFi Llama, okay, and find pools and VFAT to shop. So DeFi Llama is a great place to go. Look at what coin. You'll find a lot of platforms. Choose what TVL, you can choose what APY you're getting, you can choose on the safety, you can choose pretty much everything you want on DeFi Llama, or you can simply just go to VFAT. You'll find most stuff, but you're not going to find as much stuff as DeFi Llama because that's every pool across the board and all the chains, all the coins, etc., etc. What I would recommend is finding TVLs above $500,000. 100K as well is fine, but anything below that, it's not a lot of money, okay? Doesn't mean it's risky, but it just means you're not going to get paid as much, okay? And yearly APYs, ideally above 50%. For me, I aim for that 5 to 10% per month. So that might be 10%, give or take, per month. If you're going a little bit more safe, or maybe it's a Bitcoin pool, you might be closer to 50% per year, which, by the way, is still effing crazy. Your normal bank account probably pays you 1 to 5% on a high interest cash account. Plus, you don't get to accumulate coins, assets that go up. You're accumulating dollar value in your bank account, but will ultimately go down. Okay, hopefully you see a difference there. And then what I would do is after this, I would see how consistent APYs have been over the last 3 months. See if it's the same. If the pool is promised you 120% per year, give or take 10% per month, go back and check that. If it's up, down, it's not going to be exact, but if it's pretty consistent, great. Well, that's fine. But if it's not, might look at a better one, okay? The good news is you can get in, get out whenever you want. There's no lockups. Again, like real estate, like staking, there's no lockups, so you can turn it off if you want and go elsewhere. What I would do after this, I would set your goals to replace your income. If you're making $3,000 a month in your job, okay, how do we get that? Do the maths, do the APY, do the maths on how to do that. And then what I would do after that is compound fees to the same pool or other assets you want to acquire. And you could also use cash flow to pay the bills, okay? It doesn't really matter. In a bull run, I would suggest to do this, but I understand people want to pay bills. There's no right or wrong answer. And then what I would do is a lot of people would just completely skip is I would track your fees in a Google spreadsheet to keep you motivated with growth. There's nothing more motivating than, let's just say you earn $1,000 in your first month and then you earn 1.4K in your second month, 1.7K, 2.1. You get the point, and you're seeing this year after year once you're in this game, because once you're in DeFi, man, you're probably never going to leave. It's just so lucrative. People always say what happens in the bear market, we'll go to stablecoin pools, nothing really changes, right? It's just a little bit less fees because we don't want to be accumulating assets in a bear market that go down, but we can take this to stablecoin pools and probably still create 20 to 30% APY on stablecoin pools for 1 to 2 years and then get back in the game. So I would really track your fees on a spreadsheet. Google Docs or Google Spreadsheets is absolutely fine. And formulas you can put in, so it calculates how much every day you're making, every week you're making, every month you're doing, every single year. Super easy to do. So How you get started? Well, number one, start a liquidity pool. Super, super simple. Choose your asset. If it's a single asset, multiple assets, determine the pool size, choose a platform. Is it an exchange? Is it VFAT? Is it Orica? Blah, 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 blah. Set the liquidity, monitor pool performance, adjust liquidity or assets if needed. So starting DeFi, it requires surprisingly little preparation if you know what you're doing. You can go from zero to your first $10,000 a month instantly if you have the capital and portfolio to do that. That is no brainer. Like that is real. If you have 10% per month and you have 100K, creating 10K per month every single month, then it compounds. That's reality, right? If you have that, you can do that in month one, which is crazy because that probably literally gets you to live and quit your job and do whatever you want. No, that I wouldn't do that. I would keep getting consistent for kind of 2 to 3 to 4 months to see that it keeps working for you, but you can really just do what you want in 1 month. There's no other business model, another trading thing where you constantly need to be in the game. Once it's in, it's done. The minimum viable business consists of just 3 core elements. Basic coins you want to pair, platforms that pay the required APY you need to determine your goals. Remember, you should have goals. If that's 10K per month, just do the maths. And a simple way to compound, which is a click of a button on most platforms. What I would do after that is choose 1 to 2 starting pools, okay? Rather than trying to go all in and get messy on day one, we can compound and scale after 1 to 2 weeks of seeing the results. What I always tell my guys that join our community is just do this on a small amount. If you have 100K, literally just do $1,000, get comfortable with it. And then after 1 to 2 weeks, you're going to see the results, track it in your spreadsheet, and then we can compound from there. An essential toolkit you're going to need, or you can look at, is number 1, DeFi Llama. You can use VFAT, you can use Orica, you can use Trader Joe, you can use Turbo Finance, you can use Uniswap. There is many, many more that you can do, but these are the kind of main ones I would recommend when you get started. By the way, if you want to check out some videos on my channel, I'd recommend watching these. Here's how my whole group is doing $5,000 per day. Here's how I started a full range pool doing $68 per day of $600 investment. And here's how to make FU money with DeFi. You can go and check them out on the channel. It doesn't really matter. I would go and do that if you've got some spare time because they're going to give you more deep dives in how you can do this yourself. So TLDR, too long to read, is number 1, you have to start, okay? Literally no experience is required. Maybe if you're watching this basics first, you watch a video here on a YouTube channel, look at other guys in the space. I'm sure there's other YouTubers that are making good videos, but just make sure they're actively in the game, not just trying to sell you something. Very, very important. What I would do after that is I'll build 2 to 3 simple positions. Okay, then I would choose your platforms that we talked about before. Then I would deploy. Track on your spreadsheet, compound to the same pool of others, set goals to replace your current income, and do everything you have to hit that number. Literally everything you have to. And I promise you, if you have the portfolio, if you have the cash, it's probably not going to be long until you do that. Then what I would do after that is I would scale to get more coins, set targets for the dollar value in the coins with the bull run, just like you would with your HODL bags. Here's some key insights and highly important notes to consider, because what you want to do is you don't want to be like this guy that doesn't take profits. You want to be like this guy that actually take profits in this bull run combined with all the free fees you're going to make. So here's your daily ritual. I want you to set a specific time block, dedicate the first 10 to 15 minutes of your day once you have pools set up to check these pools and evaluate and claim the fees. After that, track everything. Like I said, use a Google spreadsheet, super, super simple to monitor all the fees you're going to keep and track and keep you motivated. And the 30-day rule that we set most of our members, most beginners who fail quit before day 30. Okay, well, success typically arrives within 1 to 2 months. If you're doing it alone, fine. That's typically what I see. If you're in like a group or a mentorship, usually we can get you started pretty much within day 1 and keep you on track. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. It was a lot. Go back and rewatch this because it's a lot to really undercover here, but hopefully this is enough to give you all the platforms, everything you need for $1,000 per month. Really, we want to go beyond that, but if you have a small amount of capital, $1,000 per month isn't actually that hard to do. And if you want some more insights, maybe you want to book a free call. Hopefully I gave you some enough value here where I don't mind plugging this. You can book a free call with me. We'll literally work with you one-to-one until you hit 10K per month. Yeah, I think it's one of the best products in the game for DeFi liquidity. I've showed you many testimonials, but again, I don't want to sell you this. I want you to go and master this first. And yeah, get to work, guys. Peace and take care.